I want to welcome you back to Enemy of My Truth. And I'm so excited for this week's conversation with Andrea Bristol, the heart behind the Little Red Barn located in Eliot, Maine. Andrea offers yoga, Reiki, and sound healing, creating a sanctuary where others can reconnect with their bodies, breath, and spirit. I've had the honor of witnessing Andrea's own healing journey and the extraordinary impact she's had on others as she's stepped into fully this work that is so sacred. And what I love most about Andrea is the beautiful energy and essence she brings into every space. Her humor, authenticity, and genuine way of just showing up for this work and for our community. You can find more about Andrea and her offerings in the show notes below. I am so glad she's here today to share with us her journey. Let's dive in. Okay, Andrea, I am so glad that you're here today and so honored to have this time to talk and to share a bit about your story and your journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, so glad you're here. So a couple things we'll just kind of dive in a little bit and just want to share with the audience a bit about, what first drew you into the practice of yoga and what it awakened in you that began to open the doorway towards the healing work that you're in today.
Well, um, when I think about yoga, it's funny. I think about my mother because she was pretty cool and she practiced yoga when I was a little girl in her black leotard, mind you,
Oh, I
which
love
is,
it.
I know, isn't that fabulous? But back in the 70s, our PBS station in Boston had a woman teaching yoga. And I remember thinking, like, that is so cool. So that's one of my earliest memories of my mom. And I truly believe that there are gifts in everything. And one of the things I also inherited from my mother was rheumatoid arthritis. But that helped me to get into yoga because I had to kind of stop what I was doing. My whole life kind of came to a little bit of a crashing halt for a bit. And I really started getting more and more into yoga because it was the one thing that helped
Hmm. Hmm.
head to toe, inside and out. And so when I think of the impact that it's had on my life, it's just huge. And I don't think that I would feel so strongly about it if I hadn't gotten sick. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like that sounds like it was the catalyst for you to push you in that direction of healing to some degree, and then in that direction of yoga. And
Yeah.
so, when you stepped further into yoga, what did that look like in terms of teacher training? And did you start to see not only through the training and practicing yoga more regularly, how did you feel that helped in terms of symptoms and your overall well-being?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, I think I'm trying to think of my first yoga class. It was before I got sick. And I remember sitting in the parking lot and I was terrified. Like it was like someone told me I had to speak in front of 8,000 people, like in a bathing suit. I was like, what? I sat and I made up every excuse I could think of to not go in. It's like, oh yeah, look at that one. She knows what she's doing. I bet she can stand on her head. I'm not going in there. Like I did not. I finally said, I just have to do it. I went in and the teacher was lovely, but she never asked me if I'd practiced yoga before. She never asked me if I had any injuries, like nothing. I didn't know what I was doing. People are bending forward. I'm standing up. She's speaking a different language. I'm like, what? And I couldn't leave because I was in the middle of the room. And I stayed with the class, and then Shavasana happened. And Shavasana is the last posture we do in yoga. It's a Sanskrit word that translates to corpse pose. So you just lie very still, and all of the stretching and lengthening and strengthening and breathing, and everything you do just kind of settles in your body. And I cried.
Mm.
And I was like, what just happened? And I waited till everybody left. And I went up to the teacher and I thanked her and I said, I don't know what just happened to me. I cried. And she said, well, welcome to yoga. And I was like, what? I think I like this. Not that I like to cry, but it was so overwhelming. Whoops. It was so overwhelming that I couldn't let it go. And I then started practicing, and I got the confidence to go to different studios and figure out the style that I like that kind of spoke to me. And I will say, and I say the word confidence because it can be really intimidating. And social media has done a great job with a lot of things, but you know, yoga is way more than being a size 2 Lululemon model who can, do all sorts of contortionist moves. It's not that. It's so much more. There's meditation, there's breath work, there's respect for yourself and other people. I mean, there's just so much more, and there's connection. The word yoga actually means to unite
Mm.
and to yoke, and it's that connection between yourself and the teacher and the person next to you who it could be their first class, and you can sense that and you want to help them. And um, it's just a beautiful, beautiful practice. And I don't even remember what you asked me because I just babbled on about my first shavasana. So
No,
there
I
it
mean
is.
that was something that I think, I mean, I can relate to when I went to my first yoga class, and I am definitely somebody who dabbles in a level 1 or level 2, but probably stays best at a level 1. And it's amazing how it surprises you about how it aligns your energy, but what you release during a yoga class.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest thing for me when I'm listening to you. And at the end, as you had the release, you really felt that connection to yourself, which I'm guessing as you step further into your yoga practice, you're connecting to something much bigger than you, right? There's an extension of this energy that is working holistically with you, mind, body, spirit.
Yes.
That I wonder that from stepping into your yoga practice and then as you entered into the space and discovered, what is healing? And I guess that would lead me to the next question, that where our paths crossed.
Mhm.
At what point did Reiki, and we'll talk more about sound healing in a little bit too, but when Reiki entered your life, how did, those practices with yoga and even, introducing Reiki into that begin to shift your connection to energy, intuition, and, what did that look like for yourself and for others in the way that you held space for others as you stepped into the practice of adding Reiki into what you were doing?
Well, Reiki, it's funny. My first Reiki experience was a lot like my first yoga experience. I won at some raffle. I won a Reiki session. Had no idea what it was.
Right.
The woman didn't explain anything to me. She was lovely. I just got on the table and I was like, what do I do? And she said, close your eyes. I was like, all right. It was unbelievable. I went places, I saw things, colors. I was like, what is happening? And I remember coming home and trying to explain it to my husband. He was like, okay, wait. So you went to this woman and you lied down on a table and you saw things? What? What? It's like, I know, it was awesome. It was unbelievable. And then I was lucky enough to come see you for a few sessions, and I realized, like, wow, there is so much more. There's so much more that we only see the tiniest bit. We only think we know the tiniest bit. Um, and the healing that I felt inside, it's like a massage on the inside. That's the only way I could describe it to people. And it's so balancing and just felt so, for me personally, because my life was kind of flipped a little bit. I couldn't do things. I was being told that, one doctor told me I was going to be in a wheelchair in 10 years. And, I didn't want to take this awful medicine and blah, blah, blah. And to to be able to feel that sense of balance and that those little things inside of me that were blocked because they had to be to protect me
Sure.
were released. And it was like, oh. And when I decided to do my yoga teacher training, which I did for my 51st birthday, so you're never too old, we talked a lot about Reiki and energy healing. I mean, it all bumps into each other, which is so cool. Like traditional medicine and Ayurveda and Reiki and yoga, it
Right.
all kind of keeps kind of bumping into each other. And I really started getting more interested in the Reiki. And then I was very lucky to be trained by you. And it just all kind of morphed. It sort of, I got my certification, and the upstairs of our barn was empty. And I thought maybe we can build one little wall and I can have a little tiny space just for me to do some yoga and meditation. And then that turned into a studio, and it turned into a teaching space, and it turned into a Reiki healing space. And it just kind of, it all kind of just blossomed. And I stopped. I know one of the things I did was I stopped wondering what if. Like, what if this fails? What if I have a flare up and I can't teach a class? Or what if?
What if life happens, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
sure.
figure.
Right. It's
But
well, it sounds like, you know, the the wanting and the desire and the push to create your space outweighed the fear of the what if too. Just
yeah,
something
yeah.
pushing you to go there and do that. And, you know, I was going to ask you, when you bring the two practices together of yoga and Reiki,
Mhm.
how do you find they work together or balance one another? And do you find those that come to see you for yoga and your classes also either get curious about Reiki, or, is it an introduction of both when people come to see you?
Yes, I have my studio is really, really small, which is great, so that I can sort of tailor my class. I don't write my classes ahead of time. I kind of get a vibe for what people are feeling, and I can actually teach a class to the chakras. So if people are feeling really nervous and anxious in their heart, we'll do a lot of heart openers and a lot of breath work
Mhm.
surrounding that. So they're getting Reiki in sort of a roundabout way. Um, and sometimes I'll do adjustments at the end of class, and I'll ask, if no one wants it, I certainly wouldn't do it, but no one ever says no, but I'll do an
Right.
adjustment and then end with a little Reiki, just to kind of finish things off a little bit. And I just know how much I love it and what it has done for me, yoga, Reiki, meditation, that I want everybody in the world to experience it.
Right. You want to share that. You want to be in that vibrational space because it's like this little bit of magic that starts to take place. And where simply, as you said, just lay, they're like, just lay down on this table and do nothing, close your eyes. And then something happens. And
Yeah.
there's no way to predict what that's going to be and the result of it afterwards. But something profound happens when you leave and get up from a table from a Reiki session.
Yes.
And I love that you're holding space in the work that you're doing, Andrea, to offer both of those things. And I wonder if sometimes you feel like you want to lean on one or the other. Do you ever feel like you are, going about your day or your week and you're feeling called more to step into your yoga practice or maybe step into more Reiki healing? Do you find that one calls to you more? Do you find that they really balance each other out when they need to?
I think they really balance each other out. I'm lucky because if I'm feeling like, oh, I need to move a little bit, I can just jump into my cute little red barn and, have a little workout.
Yeah.
But there is a balance, and it's interesting. Some weeks I'll get Reiki clients. I'll get like 5 in a row I've never seen before, and they're all of a sudden signing up this, and I think, what is going on in the world? What is happening? Because people need it, and it's not just. I do have a lot of my students are Reiki clients as well, and I am a hospice volunteer, and that also came through my yoga training. I became a hospice volunteer afterwards, and I do Reiki on a lot of the hospice patients,
It's
which is
beautiful.
really, really, really powerful. And I, I had the privilege of being able to give my mother Reiki as she was dying as well, and can't top that.
No, what
It
a
was,
what an incredible gift and the timing of that, but to be
yeah,
able to give back in that full circle moment. And
yeah.
I'm sure what that offers to others as you share that. And also in the hospice space, what this modality is so many variations of what it can do, whether it's utilized in a yoga class, if it's utilized on its own, in a hospice situation with animals, with our family, with distant healing, and all
Mhm.
the things that it can do. And I think most importantly, Andrea, I don't know how you feel about this, but how it just helps us personally that it's a gift that never leaves, right? It's the ultimate gift of self-healing whenever we need it.
Yeah, it's really, it's I geek out a little bit.
Right,
I get
right. Well,
so
well,
excited about it, and because to see someone, it's, when I see someone come into a yoga class for the first time and they are like I was that day, and they're nervous and they say, I'm not flexible, I can't do yoga, I'm overweight or I'm this and that, and I'm like, do you know how to breathe? Yep. Perfect. You're done. You're practicing yoga. And the hardest thing you'll ever do in a yoga class is walk in the studio. That's it.
I love it.
It's easy after that. And to see at the end of a yoga class, especially that new student, the pride, the way they sit up a little taller, inside they're like, oh my God, I just practiced yoga. It's kind of the same thing with a Reiki client too. They come in, I can feel sometimes. I just had a client this morning, and I could just tell she was like, "Ah." And when she left, she looked like she'd gone to a spa. I said,
Right?
"You look so good." And she said, "It's so funny." She said, "My last session with you," she went to pick up her daughter, and the woman next to her said, "Where did you just go? Did you just get a facial?" She goes, "I went to Reiki." But it's the same kind of thing. It makes me so, so genuinely happy inside my heart when I see people, that little shift, just like, okay, you don't know what that little shift is gonna do. It's gonna open up a whole big world.
And I think in a world of us trying to control things and try to know the outcome, stepping into something such as Reiki allows us to step into the unknown, to let things happen, to let things, release. And it's this sense of magic that simply does happen because we cannot know what it's going to do, but that's the power of it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't know what we're releasing or letting go. You just know something has shifted and changed the minute you get off that table. So I can totally relate to that, and we get to witness that, right?
Yeah.
And I also find it's a reminder when I haven't done something for myself or I've gone to somebody that I work with for energy work. I know when I'm getting overwhelmed. I know when I need to have that adjustment, like that. It's like facial for the soul or a massage for the soul. Like you need to release that. So I,
Mhm.
I love to see that the before and after, right?
Yeah, it's
Being a part
really
of that.
cool. Yeah.
Well, that leads into also the aspect of stepping into this work, Andrea. And, how did you navigate stepping into this new chapter with trust and authenticity for yourself? Like for all of us, it's like we're peeking out the door and like, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing. So, how did you navigate that? And are you still navigating that?
Um, it in the beginning, I would I'm very sensitive, as you know. And sometimes people would say, like, "Oh, you're doing, like, what are you doing? Reiki? Are you doing some of that?" And like rolling their eyes. Oh, that's all woo woo stuff. And there was a part of me that felt a little bit in the beginning, like, no, 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 it's really cool. It's really great. It's really powerful. Like I'd have to defend myself.
Yeah.
And when I stopped, it's who I am. I mean, it's 100%. I'm not meant to um, be a farmer. I'm not very good at that. But this feels so real and genuine, and I don't like dishonesty, so it's like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I really and truly, besides being a mother, um, I think this is I'm done. Like this, I am
Mm.
so lucky. I am so grateful. And I'm so blessed that I get to do this and watch people leave a little bit lighter and just a little bit shifted. And it's just, I'm so, so, so grateful.
Yeah, I can feel that, and I know the feeling, and I feel when I look at the work that I've been doing, and I get to witness the beautiful work that people such as yourself and fellow colleagues and practitioners, there's been this sense that this has been waiting for us for a very long time, right? Just to show up.
Yeah.
Less
And
of
it's
it.
scary. It's a little because it's different and it's
Sure.
not, you know, what? And it's not for everyone. If someone comes in and says, like, yeah, this is not going to work for me. Well, guess what?
Well, right. And it
Mm,
also requires a degree of vulnerability. So I think, if we're asking that of the client to come in, whether it's through your yoga practice or Reiki, it's asking for a certain degree of vulnerability because through needing and wanting to heal, we have to get honest with ourselves. And I
mhm.
think that reflects back to, and I can only speak for myself, and I'll ask you that we have to show up honestly for ourselves.
Yeah,
And it's a constant reminder that that never stops for us. Whether a client comes in and reflects what we're going through, or it's just a way to check in that, you know, we have to stay within the healing ourselves to offer the healing. And does that resonate?
yeah, yeah. You can't fake it.
No, no,
You
not
can't
a
fake it.
no.
And there have been times, as you know, recently my mother passed away, and there were a few. I had some clients booked, and I just had to text them and say, "I'm so sorry. My energy is just not. It's not up right now." And I'm so grateful that I could be honest and say that. I can't imagine trying to do Reiki on someone when I was like, "What?" You know what I mean?
No, the
So
boundaries, like
yeah, and
that.
people get it, and
Yeah.
and you know you do have to take care of yourself. And there have been times when I've taught yoga, and I can't move my neck. I'd have flares in my neck, and I'd say, "Okay, I'm telling you guys to look up. I'm not looking up because I can't. So it's okay. I'm modifying." So it's kind of a lesson for my students and my clients too, to say, if you're not up for it, just it's okay. We'll do
You
it when you're up for it.
you become not only the teacher but the student with them, right?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's humbling, as I think it needs to stay humbling, because I think every day throws us something different. But I love that example and going through that experience, and especially in this work, we have to have boundaries and take care of ourselves in order to show up to do the work. So
Yeah.
it's such a great reminder. Tell me a little bit about, or talk a little bit about the sound healing piece that you've incorporated into your practice.
Oh, it's so magical. I love it. Um, I've always loved sound and music, and it's really pretty powerful. And I really started getting more into sound when I developed a more serious meditation practice
Hmm.
years ago.
Hmm.
And I have an app called Insight Timer. I
Yeah,
recommend it to everybody. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's how I got my husband to start meditating.
it's
It's
great.
just great. And when I was having some flare ups, I got sick after I had a booster, and my body kind of exploded. And I would listen to these, either gongs or crystal bowls or just beautiful nature sounds. I would listen to it, and it would take me just out of my body and just some relief. And I really started noticing that, like, wow, this is really, really powerful stuff. Like, when I teach yoga, I always have music, I always have playlists, but this was a little bit different. So I started reading up and I took a couple little courses on it. And then one day my husband walked in the room, and I said, "By the way, there's going to be a big shipment arriving, and they're crystal bowls." He was like, "What?" And I bought the bowls, and I got certified as a sound healer. And luckily, I played them for him, and then that's when we discovered that we needed some acoustic panels in the barn, because He was like, oh, that's not pleasant. Um, and I've just, it's so fascinating and so powerful. I just do them once a month. They do have private, like I had yesterday, a little private sound bath for them, but you can almost watch an entire room just kind of deflate. And the sound goes in your ear and out your ear and around you and inside, and it lifts you up. I mean, it's so wild to experience a sound bath and so beautiful. And um, so I love it. And I have some other, I've actually incorporated sound into my Reiki sessions as
Mm,
well.
beautiful.
So I have some beautiful wind chimes. I have these beautiful crystal bowls with a single handle, and the sound you can't even explain what it feels like. And that's been really fun. And I incorporate it into my yoga classes at the end as well. So it's all like one big tied up with a bow, happy little moment in my life.
And it sounds, I mean, sound healing is such a incredible healing tool. And for so many of us, that there's different, that's okay.
Apparently, the phone works. There
Heather
we
will,
go.
we will just delete. It's okay. Heather, we will just delete that out. That's good.
Delete that for the love of
That's
Pete.
that,
Actually,
that's,
keep it in.
hey,
Why not?
keep it in. There's some sound healing right there. The phone just wanted to be able to express itself during the podcast.
Coming to tell us we're
Spirit
doing a good job.
doing a great job. My goodness, I love it. Oh, that's great. So going back to incorporating sound healing into your practice and offering that, it's just these layers of what has not only been shown to you that you've stepped into, but you being the catalyst for others and holding space, um, and offering perhaps what's needed at the time. So, as you've gone from yoga, you've built upon that, have gone to Reiki, and really have immersed in sound healing, which is so incredible, as an add on or a standalone. So, as you are incorporating all of these modalities, Andrea, what does it mean to bring all of these pieces of your healing to the Seacoast community? And how has that felt to connect with people here who are seeking this type of work and type of healing? How has it been received? And how have you felt coming into the community to offer such a beautiful healing space that is so needed?
I am so grateful and lucky and fortunate that I can do this. And we have such a beautiful area where this kind of work is welcome. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole
Mhm.
seacoast is very supportive. And that's one of the things that I love so much is how supportive yoga studios are. And someone will say, oh, I had a massage and she told me to come to you for Reiki, and I met so and so at a class over at another studio and she thought I'd like this one better. Like, people are really kind, and it's a really nice supportive environment. And my students, I have some wonderful students. I mean, teenagers and an 80-year-old, like they're all over the place.
Mm.
And what's really, I remember one night after a class, it was in the summer, and people were kind of leaving and walking out together, and these two women who met at one of my classes stood in the driveway and talked and talked and talked, and then they hugged, and I thought, like, oh my gosh, they're friends because of this barn. Look,
Mhm.
like, it's really and truly such a beautiful, supportive. I kind of thought when I opened my studio, I thought it was going to be competitive,
Mhm.
and I'm not a competitive person. I'm not good at that. And it was just the opposite. I send people to different yoga studios. I send people to different Reiki healers, and like, why wouldn't I? So
It takes a
it's
village. I've said this, I say it all the time. It takes a village, and
yeah.
we need more of us. to spread that healing. And I love how it's expanded for you. And it's like I just feel like another light has gone up, in the Seacoast area, like another light here, like a little lamppost. And, and I find that sometimes we might work with different healers, different practitioners, depending on where we're at. We might change, we might go back to somebody,
Hmm.
depending on what we need and where we're at in our lives. And even as healers ourselves, and it's important that we maintain that for ourselves, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
there can be many times that we're like, okay, I need a tune up. I need an alignment. And knowing one of the things I love, Andrea, is sharing the work of others because the need is so great. And also the beauty and the light of the work that you're doing is so important. And I'm honored to witness and to watch what you're doing and to know you. And it's been a beautiful thing. So how can people find you? Tell us a little bit about how they can reach out to you and what you're offering.
So they can find me at the Little Red Barn. And guess what? It's a little red barn. Like literally, it's a little red barn. It's so cute. Teeny tiny space. I only have 6 people for a vinyasa class or a gentle. I teach vinyasa, gentle, and yin.
Okay.
Take 8 people for yin. If you've never practiced yin, holy moly, it's really good stuff. And then I on my site, I took some classes away over the summer. I kind of fiddled around a little bit with, so I'll be adding some more classes and changing it up. And sometimes my students will say, "Can we have a 7 o'clock class, or can I have a 9:30 class?" So I try to shift it a little bit if I can, try to help accommodate more people. And then my Reiki offerings are on there as well. And same thing, if a Saturday morning would work better for you, just text me. It's me. And it's not like I have a commute. I literally walk out my door and through my driveway and into the big barn doors. So it's easy peasy.
I love that. And do you work in person for Reiki or do you do remote as well?
I do in person.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, it's the connection,
Absolutely.
that, and my space is really pretty
Hmm.
special.
It sure
So
is. Yeah.
yeah, it feels good in there. So
Mhm. And you're located in Eliot, Maine. So
yep.
you're right here on the seacoast. And so they can find you. I'll put all the information in the show notes to get a hold of you with any further questions. But Andrea, I want to thank you for being on the show today, and I adore you. I adore the parts of you bringing light to others and to watch your journey because I've walked so many parts of that, and there's something about finding your tribe of people and looking across the room and that smile that you might have with somebody or that heart connection you have with another, and really admire and honor the work that you're doing for others and to just know you. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. You're the best. I love you.
I
Thank you.
love you too, Andrea. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Take care.
You too.